In the cornfields of a small Midwestern town, a creature known as Saututejik wakes up every Halloween and he tries to make it to the local church. The locals know they must stop him if they don't want a disaster to happen, so they have a traditional ritual they repeat every year, called the Run. All the town's teenage boys must go after Saututejik and they kill him before midnight. Then everyone gets to eat the candy hiding in his body. Among the organs, whoever kills Saututejik is considered a hero. And he wins a house for his family, $25,000 akar, and the permission to leave town, which usually is forbidden. They also think it blesses the harvest. Ghettos aren't allowed to join the Run, and each family can only send one son. In 1962, a group of masked boys go out to hunt for the monster. One of them is standing alone on the road, very scared and unsure of how to proceed. Suddenly Saututejik appears behind him, and the boy screams as he gets killed. Moments later, the boys find the burning body of their friend, and they see Saututejik standing in the middle of the cornfield. A furious Jim immediately starts chasing after him, and when the monster is about to reach the church, Jim catches up to him and he beats him up to death. Then he grabs some candy from Jack's body, and after the others do the same, they howl and celebrate Jim's victory afterward. The Harvesters Guild throws a Halloween party to celebrate another successful run, and Jim is given all his prizes. His younger brother, Richie, asks him to take him with him, but Jim just offers a hug and he love you before leaving town in his brand new car. A year later, Sheriff Jerry shows up at the school, 5 days before Halloween, to remind the teens how important the run is, showing pictures of the year they didn't kill. Saututejik and the Blood Duster destroyed their crops. Jim is often brought up as an example of a hero, which irritates Richie, who wants to join the Run, and he can't because of the rules. Riley makes fun of him for wanting to volunteer when the others actually have no more choice in the matter. Some of the teens think that Saututejik isn't real, and he is just an adult in costume, but Bud swears he saw him outside his window when he was a kid. Riley makes fun of him too, and this triggers a fight, but the adults quickly break it up. After class is over, Riley tries to follow Richie down the street to finish the fight, so Richie hides inside a movie theater. Sir he meets Kelly, who is new in town. They chat a bit and hit it off, but when Richie asks her to the Halloween dance, she explains she isn't allowed to go because she's black. Richie promises that he'll change that rule when he wins this year's run. Then he meets with his best friends, Bud and Mitch, who heard some nasty rumors about Kelly. But Richie doesn't believe them. His friends also convince him that he's faster than his brother, so he should break the rules and join the Run anyway. In the evening, Richie goes home, and his parents then hand him a postcard from Jim, who they haven't seen since he won the Run. Richie informs his parents that he'll join the Run, regardless of the rules, and an argument ensues, during which Dan slaps his own son. This only makes Richie angrier, and he tells his parents they can't stop him. He runs to his room and escapes through the window to meet with Jim's ex and spend the night smoking. Meanwhile, in the cornfields, the farmer approaches an empty scarecrow stand and he proceeds to carve a pumpkin. Then he climbs the stand, which isn't empty anymore. Now Saututejik is there, wearing the pumpkin as a head. The next day, Riley finds Richie and he starts beating him up before stealing his belt, this a beloved memory of Jim, because the brothers used to wear matching belts. So, a furious Richie tries to defend himself with a knife. However, Riley just beats him up again and he leaves. Richie decides to go home, and he finds a letter from his brother in the mail. Jim apologizes for not contacting the family sooner, and he asks Richie not to join the Run because their parents need him. Tired of being treated like a baby, Richie decides to steal a car and he get out of town. However, as soon as he reaches the open road and he crosses the bridge, Jerry blocks his way. Richie tries to run away, but he barely gets to leave the car when Jerry knocks him out. That night, all the parents lock up their kids in their room, so they can't run and to avoid joining the Run. The boys hit the doors and the walls in desperation, and they ask for food or a bathroom break, but their pleas are ignored. They must spend 3 days like that. It's a method to drive them crazy and to make them hungry for the Run. When Halloween night finally arrives, the farmer fills up Saututejik with candy, and he cuts his rope so he's ready to go. In town, all the teenage boys are finally released, so they can take the streets and start the Run. Richie wakes up in his bedroom and he finds Dan telling him about a good job offer for his future, but Richie only wants the Run. Both Dan and Donna try to stop him from leaving, but their pleas fall on deaf ears, and Richie leaves the house. Meanwhile Bud, Charlie and Mitch take attack Tidudaran. With an advantage some boys accuse them of cheating. But Mitch quickly intimidates them until they go away. At that moment Richie finally joins them. But before they can leave, the Min group comes by and he starts damaging the track. Once again Mitch keeps them at bay. Richie distracts them with some food. Then the boys finally drive away. On their way out of town they put on some masks. Andy noticed that the butcher is keeping hungry boys away by standing guard with a weapon in hand. Other boys also throw things at the track. Foreseeing it is cheating. When they reach the cornfields, most of the group is excited but Bud is terrified because Ray still remembers the day he saw Saltutajik outside his window. Unlike his friends, he doesn't want to do this. Suddenly the truck hits something on the road. Mitch has to stop it to avoid crashing. The truck won't start so they get out and take a look, only to find the road empty. Then they notice there's candy near the cornfield. Rushed to start eating it, thinking the truck had hit Saltutajik. They've already killed him. However a noise makes them turn. They discover Saltutajik is actually waiting in the middle of the field. The boys run towards him, but just in a matter of seconds, the monster kills Charlie and Bud. When Mitch tries to look for the bodies, he gets killed as well afterward. Saltutajik stares at Richie and roars at him, causing the boy to start running away. He doesn't stop until he finds the empty stand. He is shocked to find Kelisar, who is breaking the rules just like him. To Richie's surprise they also see Bud running by. It turns out he had only been pretending to be dead to get out of this and he rushes back to town. However when he tries to enter his own house, his parents don't let him in and tell him to be a man because they need the money. While considering what to do, Bud is suddenly approached by Saltutajik. So he starts running until he finds a shelter where some boys are hiding. They want to charge him actual cash to let him in, but Bud doesn't have any on him right now. The teens start arguing over whether they should open or not, but when they suddenly hear lots of yelling, a boy ignores the protests and opens the door anyway, only to find Saltutajik killing Bud on a window. Nearby a little child screams,